you see them, by the way?
Here, they can. I see some of them. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Roberta.
Roberta, hey, how's it going?
Hello, guys.
I can't hear anything.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, why can't I hear anything on here?
We can hear you.
We hear you.
I can hear you, yeah.
There we go. I can hear y'all.
There we go. You can hear me now.
Hi, guys.
Cool. Oops. How's everybody doing today?
Uh-oh.
Okay, there's everybody.
No fear. I want to see everyone.
You just got to scroll down.
Yeah.
Hey, Pierre. Hi. Welcome.
Hi, how are you doing? Thank you.
Let's see.
All right.
I don't see me, but that's okay.
So like 402, 403. We'll give it another couple minutes that people show up and then we'll get into this. Does that sound good, y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There we
then
go. Oh,
just in the spirit of doing this, and I'll repeat myself, we're probably going to mute everybody. And then towards the end, we'll open it up for questions and answers and things like that.
okay.
How many of y'all already have a license?
That was sketchy. Could you? It was squeaky. What was that you said?
I say, how many of y'all already have your license or you're really close to having it?
Oh.
No license yet.
Quite a few.
Got
I
my
have one.
money. Woo, woo. Way to go, Andrea. Or Andrew.
All right. We ready?
Ready.
We're ready.
I think so.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute everybody. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to type them into the chat box, and we'll answer questions from there. There will be a couple of opportunities where we'll ask people for some input or for some examples. So when that happens, just you can unmute yourself at that time and participate. But otherwise, we'll mute everybody, and Clay will take it away.
Perfect.
Awesome, everybody. Thanks for coming back to part 2 of Accelerate Your Real Estate Business series that we're doing for free for all you guys that are getting your license and or new to the business. It's just kind of our way of giving back as Bernie Real Estate Group, because we know how hard it is to get the real estate machine turning. It could take a long time. Hopefully you'll get a few tricks and tips today. We're also going to recap a little bit of what we did like a month ago, part 1. Just a refresher. That was to find your leads, or how to find leads, which is as important as the rest of these things. A lot of what we're teaching is based on how we, like as a team, operate for the real estate business. And we hope that you'll take a lot of it to heart and use some of it, because it's we have found it to be a very rewarding way to get into the real estate, to make money and to serve people, as opposed to just being transactionally based. But you take what you want out of it, and hopefully it's enough to make this next hour and a half worth your time. I'd like to introduce to you guys, we call ourselves Savages. Actually, they're the Savages. I'm just the lucky guy that started all this. Stephanie, Kayla, and Leslie, you can see them. They're waving. They got the Bernie swag on, if you can't see them. You guys, y'all want to just introduce yourselves real quick?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Super grateful.
So I've been with Bernie Real Estate Group close to 2 years now.
What?
Almost. And I started out doing transaction coordination. So managing like from the inception of when agreements get signed, like the listings and the contracts all the way to close and seeing what that was like. And so it was a great learning opportunity for me to get my foot in the door into real estate and work with alongside Clay and Stephanie. And now I do a combo of inside sales and helping in whatever capacity I can, which now includes a lot of trying to help our team grow. So we're looking for 2 new family members for our team this year. And that's me.
And Kayla's been a blessing on the team, y'all. She's rotated job positions probably like 4 or 5 times because things keep changing so much, especially right now. It's been awesome.
Yes, indeed.
And just got your license.
And I'm licensed now too. Yes. At first, it wasn't necessarily required doing like admin, but now I just recently got licensed too. So I'm in the same boat as a lot of you guys. So I'm excited for all of you, and I understand your journey. So
yeah.
Next.
Thank you, Kayla. My name is Stephanie. I have been working with Clay on this team for a little over 6.5 years now. So we've been through a lot together, and it's been a really awesome journey. I work over on the operations side, doing some of the administrative type of work that Kayla talked about, some of the recruiting, general training. If you've got a question about a contract, I'm probably your person. And helping with the onboarding and all the other random stuff that comes up all the time.
She's amazing. She knows everything about everything.
Yes, Stephanie is very wise in this business.
Yes.
If I don't know, I know
transactions.
I know how to find Google.
Yeah.
Google's my best friend.
Oh, is that how you're doing it? That's your secret?
My secret.
Awesome. So I'm Leslie. I was hired on in the ISA role, and over the summer recently transitioned into the buyer agent role. And so these are 3 of the most incredible people you will ever meet. They are amazing. And this has been an incredible journey. This week actually marks my 1-year mark. So excited and excited to see where we go in the years to come. And really excited to have you guys join us here on through all of this.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. We know that this is an hour and a half and it's Thursday afternoon. So you're trying to figure out how to get out of here. So we want to make sure it's worth your time. Like Stephanie said earlier, use the chat area for questions and we'll just kind of keep track of them. In about 50 minutes, we'll be kind of wrapped up with this part of it, the presentation part, and we can get into question and answer and stuff like that. And don't be afraid to ask any questions, y'all. Between the 4 of us, we've got all kinds of, we'll give you very honest feedback and answers to your questions. Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to start off with some mindset things, because that's like 90% of the battle actually. And then we'll get at some of the tactical things about turning just people you don't know and even people you do know into some forever clients. And of course, we're going to talk about why that's important to you. So the goals for today are we're looking to empower you to be better agents so you can make more money, right? There's a little bit more to it than just the money part. There's a lot more actually to it than the money part. But ultimately it's nice to be rewarded for all the effort you put into it. An interesting statistic, and this varies based on where you find your information. 2014, NAR said that 87% of all the new agents fail after 5 years because they're not making any money. I want you guys to think about that. If there's 10,000 of y'all getting your licenses right now, in 5 years, a little over 1,000 of you are going to still be in the business. And even then you're just going to be barely making over 30,000 bucks. So, and the reason this, it's crazy to think about that stuff. I don't know how that compares in other industries. But what kind of tears my heart apart tells my heart apart about this is that you're going through so much right now to get your license, and you're spending thousands of dollars, and you're convincing yourself and your family and your friends and everybody that you're going to be amazing at this. And then they release you into the wild from real estate school, but nobody tells you what to do. So that's what, hopefully you'll get some of those tips here. Second thing is we're hiring. Shameless plug because nobody else is sponsoring this. We're looking for people to join the team. We have a pretty rigorous training. Well, it's always training, right? But it's real rigorous in the beginning. First 100 days, you get 4 or 5 months of paid training, on the job paid training. If you're interested, just click on the link down there and set up some time to speak with Kayla for about 30 minutes, and we'll kind of do a consultation. All right. The part one, when we talked about getting leads, this 3-part series is basically, it's how to like set yourself up for a full real estate business, how we did it in our careers. And it all becomes with like, you want to have the end in mind, and the end in mind should be everybody that you come across that's motivated and you like vibe with, believe it or not, that matters in real estate. Like, you want to have a system set up so that once they get into it, they feel like they are well covered, they're guided, you're their amazing resource. And when you get to the end of it, they have this stress-free, easy closing, because I promise you that's what they want more than anything else. And when you do that, you're in a place where you can then ask for referrals and feel good about that. And then you're setting yourself up for success without spending a whole crap ton of money on online leads and all this other stuff that all these other people are doing. So it's a long game. All right. This part of it, it's the long game. If you want the short game, how do I just make $1 jillion or whatever, get a bunch of stuff going? You just go put all your money in Google and Facebook leads, and you just kind of churn and burn from there. That's not for everybody. And I promise you, the more rewarding, more fulfilling path to success in real estate for the long term, which is what real estate, it's like it should be its definition, it's long term. These are the steps that we know to be really successful. So what you want to do is you start with the, like, how do you create this exceptional experience for clients and people on your team and everybody that's with you on this journey, right? So you just want to think about what that looks like. And we'll do some exercises in a minute where you'll get a chance to kind of walk yourself through that, what that might mean to you, all right? And in order to do that, you've got number 2 there, earn their trust. And then number 1, it's find the leads. So what happens is, like, everybody, it's like, it looks like this, right? At the top, find the leads. It's this big funnel of people. And what we're going to talk about today is how you just kind of earn their trust and turn them into these amazing clients. And at the bottom of the funnel, a little person pops out that's like a raving fan, advocate for you and your business. Is that, am I the only one getting feedback on that, or is that just me? Okay. So what we talked about in part 1 was what something like that might look like. And what's fun about this is that whole, like, what's the vision of how you want this experience to go for your clients and the title company and the lender and everybody. Like, that's woven throughout all these pieces, parts 1, 2, and 3, right? So we're gonna repeat some of the things that we talked about, and then we're gonna give you some tips and tools. That's not a word. Tips and tools and some strategies to use kind of at the end of this you can implement right away so that you're successful. Okay. Yo. All right. I'm getting like massive feedback from somebody. All right. So let's talk about why having a forever client and not being transactionally based is so important. And there's so many reasons. The top 4 or 5 here are here. First of all, they're fun to be with and work for. So when people trust you and they know that you're competent and you're a market resource and they enjoy spending the real estate time with you, which when a real estate transaction is going on is a hefty amount of everybody's schedule and stress level. Okay. When they're fun to be around and they enjoy being with you and they look forward to it, it's a great experience. It doesn't mean bad things can't happen. All you have to do is be solution-based to figure stuff out, okay? Because every transaction is different, stuff is gonna happen. Here's some fun math on, we call them forever clients. So basically clients that, like, they stick with you from first time home buying to like the end of your career and the end of their career, right? It's this 25-year lifespan. They buy 5 or 6 or 7 different times throughout a transaction. Generally seems to change all the time, but we'll just say it's 5. And then every year you can usually count on them to give you a referral of somebody who wants to buy or sell in the next 30 or 60, 90 days, right? If you're doing it right. So really, you only need like 20 or 25 of these forever clients to fuel your life. And just trust me on this math. I'll run through it. I don't have a little calculator here, but let's just say a lifetime client does 5 deals with you over a lifetime. Okay. Let's say the average commission's 10 grand. So that's 50 grand. So 50 grand, right? So then you got 25 years, and every year they give you a referral of one of their buddies or coworkers or parishioners or something that wants to do a deal with you. So that's another 10 grand every year. So, and that's over 25 years. So 25 times 10,000 is 250,000 plus the 50 grand they gave you. Just trust me on this. They're basically worth at least 300 grand in your lifetime, in your career, to you, without spending a whole lot of money on marketing, almost none really. Okay. So that means that you get to keep a big chunk of that money. Now, if you get 10 of those, that's 3 million bucks. If you get 20 of those, that's 6 million bucks. If you get 25 of those, that's, I don't know, 7.5 million bucks. Okay. If you work 100 grand a year for 25 years doing something else, that's 2.5 million bucks working for somebody else, doing some job that you may or may not like a whole lot. If you're lucky to be making $100,000, which is more than the average American. All right. So you guys, can you start to see why having the point of this exercise is like, if you just focus on providing a really high level of customer experience to not a lot of people, but you still stay committed to the case, in a short amount of time, you will make a ton of money. Well, over 25 years, you'll make a ton of money, but you don't have to do you don't have to work 8 hours a day doing things that you don't want to do. So, and since you're working from a place of contribution and solution and trust with these clients, the people that you meet, and you're just getting referrals from them, you're not spending 33% of your budget on marketing or 50% or 60%, some people, on marketing to like make somebody give you a maybe truthful answer to a Facebook ad, and you're trying to hunt them down and stalk them and do all kinds of stuff to convince them to like work with you, right? So what's great about that also, and I don't know if you guys believe in this stuff, but when people are talking and saying good things about you and you're saying good things about them, like the universe kind of responds to that, or God, or whatever you believe in. So when you have people actually advocating for you out there going on, like everything's in harmony with you and good things are happening to you. I promise you, that's a real thing. I don't know how to quantify it, but I promise you, when people are saying good things about you in another part of the world or another part of the city or the state or the neighborhood, good things are coming your way. All right. And this kind of business is a little bit more predictable because, if you spend 2 hours a day just calling your old friends and saying, hey, I'm an amazing real estate agent, and you know that because I've served you before, who do you know? Then you know that when you put in that time, you're going to get these kind of clients along the way. All right. And just so you guys know, about 66% of our clients are repeat and referred clients, which is great because we've had a very solid, predictable growth over the last 25 years. All right. That was a lot of reasons and a lot of words. The short version of that is just trust me, this is a better way to do things. And we've talked about this. So the exceptional experience, you want to just keep it in mind, right? So you always want to be thinking about, why do people want to have this experience? What will it do for me? Referrals, we've just talked about that. Another benefit to coming from contribution, being solution-based, and just being operate from a high level of integrity throughout all these transactions is that agents will want to work with you, right? Word will get out that you know what you're doing. You're fair, you're reasonable, you're aiming for the win-win. Like you're in this business for everybody to get to the same place, right? Without like nickel and diamond and losing your temper and saying bad things and all the things that agents like to do to each other. And when agents want to work with you and you've got multiple offers and your buyer submitted an offer, you're going to move to the top of the list just because of who you are. It may not even be the best deal, but you're going to move to the top of the list because of who you are and how you represent yourself. If you're a jerk, some of those get all the way down the bottom. And the agent just says, I don't really have a good experience with this person. Let's not work with them. Keep that in mind. That's real right now. All right. And then the rest of it's fulfillment in your profession, right? You get to spread joy to others. You get to operate from, when you're thinking about how to make somebody's life better and easier, you get to, you're just spreading joy, and that's a whole lot more fun to do. Right, Kayla?
Yes. Hashtag bring joy home.
Bring the joy home. Okay, so again, I'm gonna, like I was saying, I'm gonna talk a little bit of just about kind of the, I don't know, just the mental side of it. But think about a time when like you're at a restaurant, or you're getting your car washed, or you went to Disney or Four Seasons, or just somewhere in your life when somebody did like a really nice job for you. They remembered your name, your birthday. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like this big, convoluted, complicated process, but like, is there a place you go back to because you feel like you're their number one person when you're experiencing them at that specific time? What's nice about this exercise is you're probably going to find that it's really a simple thing that person's done. Think about, how it made you feel when they remembered your name, or that something's happened and they remembered to ask you about it, or when you come back and they're like really excited to see you, just something like that, right? Just think about like how that feels, and then keep in mind like what the simple thing was that they did, because I'm willing to bet that it was a simple thing. Now, your husband or your wife, you can't count that because they have to do complicated stuff to keep you happy nowadays. That was a joke. All right, and then next, think about a time when somebody was really pushy. They were not interested in like your benefit. They weren't helpful. They were kind of full of it. You didn't like it. You didn't like meeting them. You knew right away it was going to be a horrible experience. Think about what that was and how did that feel? Maybe just write down a couple things like what they did that really put you off or just made it a terrible experience. You guys, you're going to get this theme of like, how do people experience you? How do you relate to people? Because in a minute, we're going to get into like, what does it take for, you've only got just like a split second for somebody to kind of figure out if they're going to trust you with making one of their major investments of their life with you, right? So how do you present? How do you feel? How do they feel? And then, I don't know where I was going with that. That's the theme. So what does a forever client want? And remember, keep in mind, like a forever client, they're the people that are advocating for you, and they're giving you referrals, and they're coming back for you for their home purchases, their investment advice, property tax advice, like a lot of everything that's real estate related. What do they really want from you? And so we just kind of like polled ourselves and a few people that we talked to, and it's really not like, it's very rarely is it ever about the best price. Like, did you get them the best price for the house? I mean, that's probably not even in the top 10. And maybe for a couple people it is, but generally it's not. They want to know that you're competent. They want to know that you've got market knowledge, they're paying a fair price, or that it will be a fair price, because some people have to overpay right now. They want to know that you know how to handle surveys and title commitments and all, or you've got at least a team of people that know how to handle that. What they want you to do is make it simple for them. They don't want any surprises, right? They like to be future paced. Stephanie said that to me this morning. They want to know what's next, right? So there's no surprises. It's very stressful buying real estate because you got the mortgage people, the appraisal people, the tax people, the CPA, the lawyer, your husband, your wife, your partner, whatever. You're like going back and forth with all these people. And the real estate agent is the person right in the middle, like kind of trying to calm everybody down and tell them that it's going to be okay, right? You're doing a little bit more than that, but generally that's what it is. They just want to know that you got it. All right. You handle everything and you develop a genuine relationship with these people. And you're going to learn in a few minutes some of the ticks. I don't know where that word's coming from. Some of the tricks and some questions that you can ask and then everybody, so you can start to develop a kind of a file on people, right? So that you know how to ask them these questions. And Kayla and Leslie are going to go through that with you. So we're back to this, earn their trust. And a really easy way to earn somebody's trust is to set their expectations on something and then beat it. And a really simple thing can be, I'm going to call you back in 20 minutes because I'm in the middle of dropping my kid off. Is that okay? Then you call them back in 18 minutes. So you set an expectation, you matched it, or you beat it, and now they know they can trust you a little bit more than they did before, right? And then you can say, they ask you a question, you say, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to get back to you by tomorrow. And then you do something like that. Now you've earned their trust a little bit more. And this is as silly as it is. Doing little things like that, they build up the bank big time. And somebody's like trust with you, and it's just a simple little stuff. This is a major hack that I'm giving you guys, by the way. That you can help build that foundation of trust, right? Because you're already probably trustworthy people. I'm getting into this because trust is really important. All right. So just like if you meet somebody in open house and they're like, hey, what's the deal with something? Oh, I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to find out. Do you mind giving me your email address or your phone number? And I'll call you right back, or I'll email it back to you. And then that'll be that, right? But you've done something most people don't do, and that's follow up. And you beat the expectation, right? So then you've earned the right generally to ask them, can I call you back? Can I follow up with you? Things like that. And you get to start you get to start the wheel like that. And actually I'm trying not to steal from Leslie and Kayla here. The next thing you want to do is establish that you are the market professional. The easiest thing to do with that is to preview houses. I know nobody likes to do that anymore, but when you start to learn what's for sale and what the price is and what you get for it, you become the market professional, and people know they can rely on you to get that information. We went into that a lot in part 1, so I'm not going to dive into that in too much right now. And then establish that you have their back. And that's it. Again, that can get kind of lumped into like trustworthy and being competent and operating from integrity. But all these things, and then I wrote just do it. So we'll go to the next slide. Man, we're still on earn their trust. Must be important. This is kind of this is just a little exercise, but think about it, because I'm going to get into an interesting statistic next. Think about a time when you met somebody and you knew right away that like they could be in your tribe or you could be in their tribe. Or another one is like when you met somebody and you're like, get me out of here, right? And you knew that almost instantly, right? So, and that's when people are interviewing you, they're doing the same thing, right? Are they smiling? Are they looking me in the eyes? What's their body language like? What's their posture? Like, what are they talking about? So how do you relate to people? How do people experience you? Are you reliable? Do you feel reliable? Did you show up on time? Did you show up a couple minutes ahead of time? Right? Do they feel like you'll take good care of them? Do you look the part? That matters. You got to dress up a little bit in real estate, because you're out there to earn 10 or 15 or $8 or $7,000 on a commission. They're expecting you to look the part. So back to this again, think about a time you instantly knew you could trust somebody. The reason that's important is because 7 seconds. Within the first 7 seconds of meeting, people will have a solid impression of who you are. Some research suggests that 1/10 of a second is all it will take to start determining traits like trustworthiness. That's pretty powerful stuff, y'all. 1/10 of a second. I mean, that's like a blink. In a blink, people are deciding and figuring out which way the needle is on if they want you to work for them or not. So you gotta be paying attention. I don't know where that came from, but I think we all know in our guts there's some truth. Can I say truthiness? I love that word. There's some truthiness to this. Something about communication, and we're going to get into the tools here in a minute. The communication, this stuff's really important, because I just want you to think about, when you're thinking about the experience that people have, how you have to be all the time on the phone, online, in your texts and your emails, and talking to people and seeing them face to face. You got to be thinking about this. 7% of meaning is communicated through the words. Okay, just 7%. 38% of it's through the tone of your voice. And there's some really cool stuff you can do with the tones of your voice that will make you seem like the authority and have a lot of confidence in what you're saying, even if you don't. And we can get into that in a little bit. And then 55% of it's through your body language, right? Are you closed up, crossed up like this? Are you open and powerful and like interested in them, making people feel important? Anyways. And by the way, at Bernie Real Estate Group, we train on that. All right. The moment you've all been waiting for. All right. So now we're going to talk about when people get into your funnel, like when people come into your world, and it's up to you to decide if you want to, or if they want to work with you and you want to work with them. Okay. And so it's in the beginning. There's online leads. There's phone calls, which most of you should start doing right away. We'll go into that if we have time a little bit later. And that was also part 1. If you want to talk more about that, just track us down. And then, of course, in person, if you're doing open houses or you're out networking, or some people are really good at doing it in bars, I don't know. And I wrote 2 ears, 1 mouth. That's really important because asking questions and then being quiet and listening is really important. So you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Leslie and Kayla are going to get into that in a little bit. And in fact, Kayla's up.
Hi, everyone. So I'm kind of going to go into the client relationship, like from the onset all the way to passing the baton off to the agent. That's kind of where I come in. And as Clay shared, you typically only have a few seconds or a few moments, whether it's a cold call or that interpersonal interaction with someone. You have to make sure, like within those few moments, that you get at least some golden nugget of information that you can utilize to build rapport with that person for your next call. So I don't know if any of you have some experience doing cold calling. I know some of you do because I've spoken with you. That first call is sometimes, or more often than not, really short. And so you want to make sure you get maybe some information about their family, or you're learning about what's important to them, what their motivation is. Are they moving because they're struggling going up and down the stairs now, and so they have to go to a 1-story home? Even if you just get that tidbit of information, that's something that you can utilize on your next touch point with that client. Or we have a whole script filled with like pre-qualifying questions, maybe something like what they think their home is worth. You know, if they've thought of selling their home, hey, do you have an idea of what it might sell for? And just even writing down that one tidbit of information is something that you can utilize the next time you call that person. So again, the onset and that initial connection essentially is about building rapport and establishing a connection that can be carried on for the next call. And cute. Next slide.
Oh, right. That's me. What are the, and Kayla, what are some of the, like, what are some questions that you can like ask people just to kind of start to get to know them? Even if you've just got like, you get them for 20 seconds on the phone, do you have like your home run question that you ask people?
I mean, a lot of it is what's prompting the transition for you guys. What's prompting the move to wherever they're going to go. And so that from that point, you learn a little bit about their family. Maybe they shared, well, yeah, it's important. Our child is going to be moving on to the 5th grade, and we really love the school district in this area. So you can make note of, okay, they want to move to this area of town because they love this school district. Or sometimes it's a more challenging situation. Maybe they're going through a divorce, or they're experiencing loss. They need to move closer to other family members. Like just asking them what's prompting the transition, you can learn a lot within that short amount of time.
I think too with that first, that especially whenever you're making cold calls, a lot of it is about just listening to what is going on around them, whether it's like you hearing a baby crying, or people saying, you know what, I'm driving right now. I'm on my way to Denver for the holidays. Whatever tidbit of information you can get in those 20 seconds is all about your active listening skills in what's going on around them, and being very mindful and very ready to listen in some kind of way, because you're just really looking for something for that second phone call to follow up and say, hey, how's the baby doing today? how was your trip to Denver? How are your holidays? How, you know, whatever. And it completely changes the rapport that you have with them on that second call, right?
That's it. Nailed it.
You got to remember, like when you're asking questions and then being quiet and listening, and then you kind of repeat what they say, or they either at that moment or a little bit later, like you're making that person feel heard. Do we all feel heard all the time? I mean, the answer is no, right? And so when someone is like, hey, I'm actively listening to what you're saying, that feels good, right? That's a unique experience, sadly, right now. But it feels good, and it doesn't go without notice.
Sure.
And we have for buyers and sellers, we have a list of like 20 or 30 questions for each one that we know we need to get answered somewhere along the way, so we can either know two things, really know a lot about them, and then know what their motivation is to see how we can like serve them at the level that they expect and they want, right? And they're all, and it's cool because as you practice them and as you get to know them, then you just kind of automatically know, like, I need to fill in the blank on this question at some point in this conversation, right? And so it's just nice to have those cues, and we'll be happy to share those with you.
And as Clay was sharing, like, until you establish the trust and the rapport, they have no reason to stay on the phone with you for more than a few moments.
Right.
So all like just setting the stage for the next step in the process and for building that relationship and building that trust. So that leads into the nurture status, which essentially you're building that positive relationship with the client, earning their trust, and always keeping their best interest in mind. So as you've developed that relationship, you've learned maybe, yeah, we're going to be selling next May because this is our second property and my daughter lives there right now, but she's graduating from UT, so we're going to sell. Okay, great. So then, you know, from that point, you're going to schedule your follow-up calls, emails, texts, tailoring it to that timeline. So maybe you're not calling her every single week because you don't want to, inundate her, but maybe every couple of months, like, hey, how's it going? Is your daughter still on track to graduate in May? Things like that, to where they know you're tailoring it to their unique situation and you're remembering their motivation. And again, as Clay mentioned, like, you're just helping that family and that client achieve their goals at the end of the day. And it's carrying that relationship with your nurture calls. Sometimes that could be over like a year. Maybe they won't be ready to sell for a whole year, but you're still going to take that relationship with the client and like hold it close to your heart and touch base with them every few months. That way they know you genuinely care and you're keeping their best interest in mind, not just, hey, well, I thought about selling next month instead. You want to do what's best for them and their family. So
and you gotta, like, you're not trying to be their best friends, right? You're just trying to show them that you're listening, you're capable of listening, and of course that you care about what's going on in life. Because you guys like, you get into these relationships with people over the long haul. If you decide to keep doing this, like, you start doing life together, right? You start having kids at the same time, or grandkids, or like stuff like this is just like happening. And it's a little bit different because, like, in the beginning, like, you're trying to show them that, like, hey, I'm going to be your person forever about real estate. You don't say the forever word right up front because that's a little freaky, but like, you're like, I'm going to serve you and do everything I can to make sure it's good. And you got to realize at that moment, they don't really care about your life and your personal stuff. Okay. It's just about, like, what is this agent? Like, think about an agent, a sports agent or a real estate agent that by definition has to take care of them above everybody else. Like, what is this person going to do for me? Can I trust them? Are they competent, right? Do they look the part, or do they smell like an ashtray, and like all these other things, right? So, and then, if you do, and by just focusing on asking, 24 questions, or just like kind of like zeroing in on those things, like, you're going to build this massive foundation of trust and reliability with them that will be unshakable. All right. And then that's when, like, the business starts to just kind of build and build and build. It takes some time, right? Because like Kayla said, not everyone's interested in doing something in 30 days. Sometimes it's a year. here's a little trick. If somebody says a year, it's really 6 months, right? So just adjust your call to action, your action plans accordingly. But like, there is a person, I followed up with them for 7 years that I met him in open house in Lakeway, 7 years. And then it turned into like 7 deals. Yeah. With referrals and open house opportunities and stuff like that I did based on when they said, okay, now we're ready. All right. That's a long time to follow up with somebody. But how hard is it to pick up the phone and call somebody every 3 months and say, hey, how you doing? Do you need anything?
Right.
How such and such? Did you retire yet? Things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they know what you're going to call and ask them about. You know, they know what you really want to know and all those things. But people don't have a lot of friendships or relationships with people that are even. So just be thinking about, just think about that again, like the experience that people, my kids are outside. You just want to think about, you just want to be like keeping that in mind, right? Be authentic when you're asking questions. Listen, and by being quiet and listening, I think Leslie's going to get at it next. Is a great way to do that. Just super simple trick, like tools, not tricks.
So the next step, once you've nurtured the relationship with that client to the point that they're ready to move forward with listing their home or purchasing a new home within the next 2 months or so, you're going to set them up for the appointment. And I call it passing the baton off to the buyer's agent or the listing agent. And from that point, as Clay mentioned, we have scripts that have pre-qualifying questions for sellers and for buyers. And within this realm of doing the inside sales, you want to make sure you gather as much information as you possibly can with that pre-qual to make sure that your agents are set up for success, which ultimately translates to a great experience for that client. So again, you're just setting the stage for the client, letting them know how the process works, that because another hard, I wouldn't say hard, but you've developed this rapport with the client and you've nurtured a relationship with them for about a year, maybe sometimes or more. And then finally they're ready to go and you pass the baton off. And so you have to be able to translate that element of trust that you've built to the other members of your team. And that's
and Kayla, about that, a pass the baton, you made me think of a great point. Not everybody's going to be on a team, right? But it's a pass the baton is a transition, right? So like when you're nurturing and you're doing stuff, and then you transition into, okay, now we're going to get serious about house hunting, right? We finally got it. We're going to get you pre-qualified with a lender. I got a great lender. We're going to use this inspector. I got a great inspector. And so when you're passing the baton to like the lender, especially, or the banker or whatever, you say, hey, I want you to meet Mr. and Mrs. Smith. These are all the things this is who they are, what's important to them, how to speak with them, you know, what matters to them, things like that. So like you've built, and you're able to do that successfully. So then that lender can just like slide right in, or not slide, but like can just get right in. And like the transition is like it's seamless, right? You want to build just seamless transitions. That's another pass the baton, because it happens, right? You're going to go for the lender, then you're going to be under contract, and you got title companies and inspectors, and you got all these things flying around, right? And then you get to closing, you got the title company again, and the lender's back in it again, and like all these things are flying around. Then you get it, and then all, you know, like repairs are going on and whatever, right? So there's like 100 people like that are involved in like, you know, getting all twisted up into these transactions. But because you've done your homework and you know these people really well, it's really easy for everybody to relate to them. So it feels like they're in a good spot. And again, that's that whole experience that you want people to feel when they're with you, because you, my friend, real estate agent, you're in charge of what their experience is like. It doesn't matter who screws up, because somebody will. It's your problem to deal with and to fix it. All right. So if you got a plan and a system to address those kind of things, and even say, hey, here's a hiccup that's coming up, we're going to guide you through this, no problem. That's what you need to be prepared for.
Absolutely. So passing the baton, is also essentially, it's the transition to move forward in the next step.
Yeah, sorry, I just dumped that on you, Kayla. I just thought of that.
It's 100% right on. Like, there's a lot of throughout the entirety of the process, there's milestones that client is going to go through, and the level of stress increases as they go along. So like I said, you want to make sure that it's seamless and comfortable, and that you as a team or as an agent are taking on that stress, taking it away as best as you can. And I think it's the next slide. Q, I think.
Yeah. So exactly what they're saying is correct in thinking about whenever you're passing that baton on and taking that, a lot of people, like Clay mentioned, don't have an ISA in place. But what's important is to understand that you are now going from an online, on the phone relationship into a face-to-face relationship with this person. So what their experience has been so far, you may have been, or your ISA may have been incredible on the phone and incredible at building that relationship. That has to be exactly what carries on through the remainder of the relationship. You don't want this to be a point where they fall off the wagon because everything that Kayla built Clay or I up to be, it falls flat, right? So can you go back one slide?
I'm trying to figure that out. I accidentally pushed some buttons.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
So experience, right, is what it's all about. That's how you keep somebody, that's how you get somebody in the beginning, is making sure that they feel heard, that they're listened to, that you've made that mark on them, and that carries out through the entire process. Whenever I initially get someone, Kayla has gathered all of this incredible information for me, but I want them to have the same kind of experience that they had with Kayla. And so that listening comes into play. My first initial introduction to them is a phone call. If they don't answer, it's a text. Immediately after the appointment is set, talking about who I am and trying to build confidence and confirm what Kayla has presented to them. Confirm what you as an agent have presented to them. So once you make that appointment with them, follow up with them immediately, telling them it was great to talk to you. You know, this is who we are. This is, I'm excited to see you on ... date. And then whenever you have that appointment, coming back again and being very clear and very simple about who you are. We have a really simple promise, that has kept us in business for over 20 years. Like, we have an entire scripted out promise that we introduce at the very beginning, with the point of, we want your referral, and we know that we have to work at a very high level in order to get that referral. And so as we go through every stage of the process with somebody, we're saying that again and again and again, making sure that it's drilled into their head that Kayla worked for you at a really high level. I'm going to work for you at a really high level. You're going to meet Stephanie. She's going to work for you at a really high level. We want your referral at the end of this entire thing. And then talking about who they are, asking the right questions. I wrote in there, you'll know more about them and what they want than they actually do if you ask the right questions. Be ready to actively listen and watch somebody. What their responses are going to come out both vocally, tone of voice, and in the way that their body responds. And then ask and shut up. This is an incredibly hard thing to do. It's something that I have actually practiced doing. One quick story for you. Whenever I started practicing doing this, I called an expired at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I simply said to him, it looks like you have had a less than desirable experience with another agent. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And he started talking to me and elevated and elevated and elevated until he was completely worked up to where he hung up the phone. Those were the only words that I spoke through for that entire conversation as I was practicing this. But people want to talk. They want to talk about themselves. They're eager to share their story with you, but they need the space to be able to do that. And so just asking a question and then listening to a little bit and then following up with what you think that they said is not the right way to do that. Ask and simply let it be quiet for a minute.
And we had to practice that a little bit, didn't we?
We did. That's what I just said. We'd absolutely practice it, and it does get uncomfortable. So I would encourage you guys, like with your spouses or your children or whatever at home, ask a question and just be quiet and wait. See how comfortable that is for you to actually put that into practice and how much more information you get out of people when you do that. It is incredible. Okay, and then
literally when you do that, guys, like they'll say something, stay quiet.
Yeah.
More will come out.
Yes.
And then you'll get to the root of the matter.
Yes. Right? Yes, absolutely. And then from here, I have a lot more to share with you guys, but a lot of it is in the contract to close portion. You obviously are going to meet these people at homes. You're going to look at what they want. As you meet them and you're taking them to homes and doing all of that, being mindful of all the information that you have gathered this far and making sure that as you're walking through the homes with them, you're saying, I picked out this home because this is what you said was important to you. You said having a huge yard was really important to you. That's why I brought you to this home. You said that having granite countertops was really important to you. That's why I picked out this home. You said, reiterating that you listened, you heard what they said. It's important to you that they get what is going to make them happy, right? So doing all of those kind of things throughout the entire process. And then if you want to go to the next slide, these are just kind of two areas where things can get really off course with talkers and timing. So everything and everyone obviously does not stick to the script. We're really big on scripts. We practice them and do them all of the time, make sure that they're part of our dialogue. We insert them into jokes. We insert them into every part of our lives because it's something that's become a part of us. So kind of what to do whenever you don't know what to do. There's a lot of different scenarios, but some things are, you get that phone call at 6 o'clock. You don't want to not answer that call because they're going to move on to someone else, right? Answer the call. Be honest about where you're at right now. Be honest about what the situation is, that you do want to talk to them, that it's important to you that you get that time with them. But my kids are all running around right now. This is not the best time for me to give you my full attention, and I want my full attention on you. So can we talk at ... time? And then you have people that are talkers. You ask them one question and they get way off base, and bringing them back to getting back on script and trying to actually get to what Clay was saying, getting to the heart of what is going on there. So just 4 helpful tips. Anytime you're in either one of those situations, be honest, be mindful, be helpful. Try to give something of value to them in those moments and be brief about it. If you don't have the time and your kids are running around like crazy and they just really feel like right now is when they have to talk to you, try to just be honest, be mindful of what is going on with you right now, give them something that can help them right then, and be brief with them.
So, and on that's if you really can't talk to them, right?
Yes.
Don't recommend doing that to every single person that calls you.
No, no, do not
make it money hard.
Yeah, do not. Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, and then So after somebody kind of transitions through all of that, we're going to walk you guys through next week. And I think we put it on the next slide. We're going to walk you, I'm sorry, next month. We're going to walk you through the actual contract to close. So if you guys want to sign up for that class, it is already up and going. If Clay wants to change the slide there. Oh, just kidding.
Yes.
So Kayla's gonna kind of, yeah.
Yeah, you always have to keep top of mind, like you need to continue the relationship even after the sale, even after the property has already closed. It comes full circle. Then they're going to be back in your hands again to nurture until they're ready to purchase their next home or sell or whatever that may be. It all comes full circle. So every few months, checking in just to see how the family is doing, letting them know that you care. Little important aspects about your client relationship. Maybe you know that they're going to have a baby next spring and you like check in to see how she's doing or congratulate them on the new baby or their birthday, or those little personal elements can mean a lot and make someone feel really special. And as Leslie mentioned, people, like if you don't answer the phone or you're not taking care of that client, somebody else will. Like they are getting calls from other agents all of the time. And there has been cases to where I will call someone and they're ready to make a move and I ask them if they're working with an agent or something like that. And they'll be like, well, yeah, I have an agent who sold me my home, but that was years ago. And it's a dead relationship. Like you don't want that to happen. So making sure that you're continuing that relationship, that way you're top of mind when they're ready to make the move or purchase again. And they send you referrals when they have a friend moving to town or they have a contact who needs real estate assistance. Like you're that go-to person. And they're ultimately your forever client. So then it all comes full circle. That's it.
Yeah. That you just have to keep in mind, like all this is like, you just want people to understand that like, it's safe for them to tell you all this stuff. And then in your eyes, you're their number one priority. If they feel that and you display that to them, like that's unstoppable. And man, it is worth so much money and fulfillment and like just a longer like life in real estate that can be very rewarding. Like I can't stress it enough. That's why we're doing these classes. So that kind of wraps up what we wanted to talk about today. And we do have what's probably the most helpful thing for you guys, other than whatever you just took out of that. And you wrote down, or like, what are the actual questions that you need to be asking people as you're getting to know them so that you're armed and prepared to show them this experience and to guide them through the process, right? So you're not wasting people's time, because efficiency is a big piece of this too, right? You want to keep it efficient for them and for you. Everybody's time is, well, we have more of it now thanks to Corona, but when all that starts to go away, like things start to get back to normal-ish, like the time and efficiency stuff it's super important. So, and I think we've got everybody's email, so we'll just email them to you if that's probably the easiest way to do it. In our office, if you guys want to jump in and like practice them, like, because we talked a little bit, there's some tonality tricks that you can do when you're asking these questions that will actually give you an honest answer. Because in the beginning, you'll be surprised, like maybe you won't be surprised, but like getting honest answers sometimes is you got to hang in there a little bit for those. But that's so anyways, we'll send those to you and you'll have that. At least that'll be a good use of your time. And then we'll send you this registration link for the next one, where it's the contract to close. What's great about contract to close is that's where like the real, if A happens, then do B. If B happens, then do C. And like some people's personalities, like that really sinks in. Like what's the actual like action steps and what's next and stuff like that to do. And then where do I ask for referrals? Where's the moment to shine? Where's like, when do I get to be the hero? And do I tell them, do I not tell them? So we're going to tell you all these things that's where, like, that's when you get rewarded for your good behavior, so to speak, is during the transaction part. And we're going to talk a lot about that. We even have a little transactional map for you that'll make things pretty easy that you can, you're welcome to use. So hopefully we'll see you there. I want to open it up to some questions. I didn't see. Oh, there's secret bonus material, y'all. Forgot about this. Let's see if it's any good. Oh, you guys want to go through this, or y'all want to ask me some questions? You unmute them, see what they say. Please.
Questions, anyone about anything? Real estate, the team?
Any questions? You guys are gonna be quiet. I'm gonna bore you, or you can log off, but I'm gonna bore you with some secret bonus material.
Let's do it.
Give us
No
the secret,
questions.
please.
Bore me.
Okay, you getting started in your real estate. What, did somebody just say something?
Anyone? Questions? No?
Okay.
I think you're good to show the secret.
Okay. Yeah, this is the important stuff. I forgot that we had this in here. Okay, so getting started in your real estate business, guys. I don't know if you've created your database of people that you're going to call and ask for business, but you need to do that. And the best way to do that is to go through your phone and look at the people that you've talked to for the last 30 days, write them down, call them, email them, and text them and say, I just got my license. I'm going to do everything I can to be the best real estate agent in Austin or wherever you are. What can you do to help me? And then what can I do to help you? It's that simple. In fact, it's so simple, I think I even wrote this down for y'all. As you know, I've been studying my real estate. By the way, everything we do is very scripted. You want to take a screenshot of this? Go ahead. Because everyone, there's so many of the paths that people take are, I'm not going to say predictable, but they've happened before. So there's scripts and dialogues and like objectionators to handle each one. Most of them require listening and asking questions. So I just passed my exam. I'm not always going to call you about business. Maybe every month or two, I'll ask you for referrals. You know, someone that wants to buy or sell a house or invest in real estate. Is that cool? Is that okay? Does anybody come to mind? That's the important line. Ask for business. I call it an AFB. Ask for business. Do you know anybody that I can help buy or sell real estate? Guys, if you're getting into real estate and you decide to do the sales part of it or the leasing part of it, you need to generate leads. The best way to generate leads is to ask for them. I can go off for hours on this. All you got to do is sit down and ask people. So if you're new to the business and you've got a list of 50 people, I promise you, you can put a list together of 50 people that you know, barely know, or whatever. Somehow you have their phone number or their email address. I promise you, you can ask them for business. And they're either going to say yes, no, maybe I'll think about it, or don't ever bother me again about this. Then you'll know what to do with them. Okay. Occasionally that happens, but it's about 1 out of 100. So if you only got 50, you get to do it twice until you get that. But I promise you, you can build a very good business with the people that you already know. Because everybody knows somebody. And as soon as you get somebody in your car, you're showing them houses, or you get a listing, you go back and say, hey, since we're doing this and I'm providing this amazing experience for you and you love it and we're doing great, I'm going to go ahead and ask for that referral right now because you're in a good mood, right? Is what you're thinking. Don't say that, or you can. And then ask for the referral. Ask for business. You've got to get comfortable asking for business. Like I'm going to ask you guys, if you know of anybody that's looking to buy or sell real estate here that you're not totally ready for, I would love to work out a referral arrangement with you. I mean that. And they'll end up working with Stephanie, Kayla, Leslie, and me to get through that. And you can work with us so that we can show you the ropes on how something happens. So just putting that out there. I'm asking you all for business. Also, if you know of anybody who wants a job, we're hiring. But anyways, you can use the script. It's very simple, right? It's very easy. It's easy on the ears, right? People you know. How you find leads, your sphere of influence. That's what that's called. Your people that you already know or have some kind of a relationship with. You can dive really deep into this. If you got a list of 100 people, you rate them your A's, your A pluses, your B's, and your C's, the people that really are really going to advocate for you. We probably have about 9 or 10 people that like just pump us business all the time. You got to work at finding those. If you've got one, like they're called influencers, like don't ever let go of them. Do everything you can. If you're gonna spend marketing money on it, spend it on them. Open houses is the second best thing to do. That's where buyers and sellers are that are actively in the market. Networking. Some of you guys are probably really good at that. I'm not. Team leads. This is the team is what's great about a properly functioning team is that you're leveraging each other, right? So as like the team owner, I provide like the salaries for the people on the operations side and the leads, and then the agents get to go convert them after the appointment, close them, and they get paid. We get paid. We're leveraging each other because the agent just gets to do what the agent wants to do, and that's close deals and get paid. And ops people get to do what they want to do, and the owner gets to do what he wants to do or she wants to do. Like that's how a successful team works. And you can tell a successful team by how they operate together in a small space. The next one would be paid online leads. Guys, you will spend a fortune on that, not make very much money in the very beginning. I do not recommend it in the beginning. Mailing, farming, that's a long play. And for sell by owners expired, that's knocking on doors and asking people that are already kind of grumpy about relationships with real estate agents if they want to hire a real estate agent to be their real estate agent. You've got to have really thick skin for that. You have to have really thin skin for calling the people, Mom, I got my license. Tell me somebody you know that needs to move into an old folks home and I can sell their house. You can have that conversation.
Yes. Before you go any farther, can we share some of these questions that they have just asked in chat so everybody kind of knows?
Yeah.
So one of the questions was about the transition that's made between Kayla and I. And before I was making that transition over to Clay. So that transition is crucial. Probably 90% of the time, Kayla and I have a conversation, an actual phone call conversation about the person, because there are a lot of things that just written verbiage and information doesn't tell you, like the tone of someone and, all of those kind of things. Kayla's incredible about taking notes on everything about somebody. But I mean, she is incredible. You probably will never, ever find an ISA that is as incredible at that as she is. But that knowing the tone of someone and what kind of person they are, and like whether they're a talker or they're a joker or they like, what kind of tone that they have is really important. And so, yeah, you definitely invest some time into finding out a little bit about them and who they are before you jump into conversation with them, if you have the opportunity to do so. And then
there's
go ahead,
other
Kayla.
There's other little, intricacies too, with like you learn the DISC assessment that maybe some of you guys are familiar with, even sharing a little bit about that with the agents before you pass it off. Like, okay, I spoke with Mr. XYZ and he's a high D personality. He just wants the facts. He just wants the data, talk numbers, no fluffy stuff. Or the alternative, Miss So-and-so, she loves to talk on the phone, and you're going to be on the phone for probably 45 minutes, and she may bring up a conversation about her pet chicken named such and such. Like, and it gives the agent a heads up, and it's also something that they can build rapport too, like little notes about that. Like, hey, how's your chicken doing today? And that type of stuff will mean so much to someone. And that's actually a real example of one of our clients.
Yeah.
Every time I talked to her, she loved to talk about her chicken. So anyways.
For a long time.
Yes. So that even goes back to Leslie's point about, what was your slide? Talkers and timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You will learn your clients, and you have to be strategic about timing.
How you're scheduling things. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. That happened to me this weekend, and, still on a phone call while trying to show houses, not realizing that this person's going to be that much of a talker. So, yeah, it's definitely important to spend some time talking to your ISA or to, you know, whoever is doing that for you. And then one of the other questions was how many people actually answer the phone versus hanging up or ignoring your calls.
Good one.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that is it. That's a great question.
How do you handle Leslie?
Say that one more time.
How do you handle that when, like, it's like, it just depends on who you're calling, right?
It absolutely depends on who you're calling, 100%. So if you're cold calling, I go off of like a 10% ratio, right? Like about 10% of the people that you call answer the phone. It can vary. You think what?
I'm thinking more 12%.
12%. Okay, so somewhere right in that area are going to answer the phone. And then some of those people are going to answer the phone in a positive way, some of them in a really negative way. Some of it, you know, it all just depends on what's going on. But we talk about it openly, and I would encourage you guys to talk about it openly as well with whoever you surround yourself with. You're going to have bad days on the phone. You're going to have bad conversations on the phone, but it is not anything to get discouraged over at all. It's absolutely, it's something that you just like need to get out of you. This happened, that whatever, and be able to move on and serve someone else is out there waiting to be served well, and you're ready to serve well. So that's
not the majority of the time though. The majority of the time, the people that you're talking to either want to talk to you or they're politely say no thanks, right? But if you're calling the people you know and that are in your database like you should be, you're gonna have pleasant conversations.
Yep.
And if they don't answer, pop them a text, says, hey, I was just thinking about you. Let me know if you need anything. Boom, done.
Yep.
Right? So sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's like they'll see everybody that I call. I've been doing this for 25 years. Everybody that I call, they know like what they know what I'm going to ask them at the end of the conversation. And if they feel like talking to me and updating me on their life and stuff like that, because we're, you know, over the years, we've developed those kind of relationships, then they're going to answer, right? Sometimes they'll just say, hey man, just thinking about you. I got somebody for you. I'm gonna group text you. Boom, done. Right. So, but by doing that, you stay top of mind. You don't want somebody else occupying your client's space, and when they start thinking about real estate, you want them thinking about you. So you've got to be consistent and persistent. And when you're calling people and communicating with them in your real estate life, hey, I'm your agent. Don't call anybody else. Don't think about anybody else. Don't think about that guy up on the billboard. You call me, right? I'm the person that's bugging you about real estate all the time.
Yeah, I think it's like it's something like 17 days. Like every 17 days, the person that you talk to forgot that you were in real estate, and so it's really important that you have a really strong follow-up system in play there. I mean, even the people that are really close to you are gonna forget that that's actually what you do. In the beginning, yes, absolutely. Yes. So Clay's been following up with people for 25 years. So at this point in the game,
but guys, it's real estate. It's fun. It's just like any other sales. You just want to be the person they think about. Right now, 54% of the people in our database that we've been serving, according to these new Corona statistics, 54% of the people out there are thinking about shopping me around. Me, right? The people that I've sold hundreds of houses to, right? So I know I got to keep my game up, and we got to be innovative, and we got to come out with stuff that says, hey, we're still the best. We're still working on education. We're still doing cutting edge marketing. Check this stuff out. Look at what we're doing. Like, we still have to do these things. So you cannot get lazy on it, because they will go somewhere else if the opportunity comes up. So we're not trying to know you right now, by the way. You literally just got to call your friends and your family and say, hey, I'm in real estate, and it will start. All right, this one's funny because it's weird that I have to talk about this with people. Clean your car, dress and smell professional. I'm not going to get into what the smell thing does for people. Preview properties, study the market, be early. And nowadays, you've got to overdo your personal protection equipment and have extra. All right. Better to be safe and prepared than to be offensive and scary. And that's probably going to be around for a while. Any questions? It's not that hard to do. A couple of, go ahead.
There's a question in the chat.
Okay, I was gonna go ahead.
Okay. So it says, share your anecdotal assessment and experience of mobility from fresh new license to a livable life, please. Do you start as a side hustle, then as skills and clients grow, become more centered on real estate, and does the team allow for that?
Good question.
That was a good one.
Okay, it's a good one. And if you want the Tony Robbins answer, it's when you get to the island, you burn the boats, right? If you want to be successful in this, like you got to go all in, man. There's no half-assed. There's like 30,000 agents out there that are all fighting for the same deals.
Yeah.
Right? You're convincing everybody in your circle that you're the one that's going to be the best real estate agent ever out there. And there's some really good ones, right? So you got to be better than them. And you think you could do that as a side hustle? You might get 5 or 10 deals a year, but you're not going to make a bunch of money. You're not going to change your life. I mean, I could get really passionate about that, but if you want to do this and you're going all in on it, man, like you got to go all in. You're not going to tiptoe. The clients are going to know you're tiptoeing. Hey, how come this person never freaking answers the phone from 9 to 5? Oh, they're doing their other job. They don't have time for me. That's not going to work, guys. If you want to make money and you want to change your life and you want to impact others and you want to provide this amazing service, people, you got to be all in. Excuse me. That like, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. And it's hard, right? The first year, it's hard. You're going to make barely enough money. It gets better. And you're going to prove stuff to yourself. You know what that feels like when you prove something to yourself and you prove something to your family and the people that were hating on you and doubting and all that stuff? You know how good that feels? And when your clients say, hey, I got somebody for you, I got a referral for you, do you know how good that feels? It's unbelievable. I still get excited when somebody says, hey, I got somebody my daughter wants to buy a house. Can you help them? Hell yeah. I'd be honored to. But they're not going to do that for somebody who's doing it part-time. You can't do part-time right now, man. Every time you make an offer, there's 20 other people trying to buy the same house. Yeah. Every time you go on a listing appointment, there's 20 other agents that are interviewing for that. They're looking at Redfin, right? They're looking at instant cash offers. How are you going to provide service that's worth 3% every time you go somewhere if you're not freaking available?
Yep.
Burn the boats. If you can't burn the boats, if you're not in a place where you can do that, figure it out. If you can't figure it out, do not get into real estate. You will get eaten up and you will waste all your money.
Yeah. Yes. No, your bills do not wait. So yes, you do need to have a very healthy savings. Probably. Or find
unless you come to us and we're a match.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You need to have some money put away.
They're asking, can you speak about training or mentorship?
Yeah.
Mentorship. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean the hold on. I'm still fired up. Training or mentorship. I mean, absolutely, guys. In 1998, I joined a team that that wasn't even a thing. I just went to this agent. She was the #1 agent in Austin. I said, I want to work for you. Teach me everything you know. I worked 2 full-time jobs for her. I was her buyer's agent and her listing manager. I learned a ton of stuff. That's the best way to shortcut like your success. Any brokerage, a successful brokerage out there has the models and the systems and systems that work that will make you money. You got to do the stuff though, right? You can't just know that you got the access to the stuff. You got to do the stuff. And that's what right here on the screen, you see the compound interest effect, right? Warren Buffett said compound interest is like the 8th wonder of the world. The other compound interest nobody talks about is what do you do consistently every single day? It doesn't have to be for 8 or 9 or 10 hours, but what do you do every single day? Work out, eat right, pray, study, meditate. Like, what do you do that's healthy for you, right? So then what do you do that's healthy for your business? If you do the same thing every day for like 2-3 hours a day, start small. Just do it every day. Compound interest every single day, man. It will stack up and it will be overwhelming. And then you're hiring an assistant, then you're hiring an ISA, then you're hiring buyer agents, then you're hiring more and more. And like your world just grows and your influence grows and the people's lives that you affect positively, it grows. You don't have to want all those things. If you just want to be a single agent and just go do your best every single day, that's what you got to do every single day. I think I just went down. Sorry, I just went down another rabbit hole, but I mean, those are it's so simple, man. I hope I didn't scare you all.
Any more questions, guys, about the team, about real estate? A few more minutes. Nope.
I have a quick question. How do you feel about adding your future clients on social media?
Well, okay. If you're like, and I'm not saying that you would do this, but like if you're the person that's like 6th Street photos and like talking about margaritas and stuff like that, I don't recommend it. But like, I mean, social media, it's a major presence, right? If anything, it's branding. It's not exact. You're going to get a couple deals from being on there, but it's just a branding thing, right? So I mean, eventually you don't have to in the beginning, but eventually you're going to need to. And they were like Gary Keller, I get to talk to him every once in a while, but he's like social media, it's all in. Everything that you do, you have to be all in on for real estate. So that is a shorter answer. Yes. Remember, you're not going to make money and be able to like impact lives if you're a secret agent, man. People got to know what you're up to. And they got to know about some of your successes. Not every day. When you have a closing, pop it in there, right? You see something cool once a week, you want to be talking about it. But when if you're out getting crunk with your buddies or whatever, if that's still a word, like just stop doing that.
Just stop doing it.
Just stop doing it. Stop selfies of you and your like friends wearing crazy hats and doing all kinds of stuff. Like you're entering into the professional realm. And guys, you're like everybody's really, it's easy to stalk somebody. Like you don't even have to try that hard anymore. And so any of those crazy pictures and some of the dumb things that you're going to say, political or otherwise, like you got to be careful. And you can say, I don't want to work with anybody that's going to vote for that person, but I guarantee you, you're going to work with somebody who's going to vote for that person. So don't say it.
So, any more questions? Anyone?
Well done.
Oh.
You guys have been amazing. Y'all, this is like, y'all have the best questions and you're engaged and you're staying in this. Like I'm really excited about it. And even let me get to talk, like I got to say Tony Robbins. So that means I had a real good day today. But you guys, the mentorship and coaching, absolutely find somebody that like vibrates with who you are or that you want to be like, right? You're the average of the top 5 people that you hang around, top 5, right? So if you want a mentorship and coaching, go find somebody who's better at it than you. Don't find somebody from real estate school that wants to do the same thing. Go find somebody that's already done it. You'll learn faster.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining. It means a lot to us. We
really appreciate it.
And you reach out anytime. If you have any questions or anything, just holler at us.
Mm-hmm. Text, email.
We'll email you the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be, I think, like sending out the scripts, right, Clay?
Yes.
So all the prequel, all the meat and potatoes.
We'll do that in the morning.
No.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Of course. You guys have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Everyone.